Which Texas star or star in the making delivers a title to the Lone Star State first? Is it Wemby, KD, or Cooper Flagg? Which insane NBA record falls first? Is it Curry's three-point record or John Stockton's all-time assist record? And which win-now team will be forced to the bottom of the standings first? Who's on first? Matt and Hayes will figure it all out today on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, they can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets, and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories every single day with the help of Locked On's local experts. And I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt.
I'm very excited to talk about insane records today. I'm very excited to talk about how insane these records are, because when you look back, we talk about all the accomplishment of today's stars, and they are incredible, but there have some players that have done some work, and I'm excited to get into the possibility of whether or not they could be broken, because, well, time is infinite, theoretically.
I can't wait to get into that. We've got a lot of which happens first questions today. It's a themed episode of Locked On NBA because we are officially in the silly season into summer, and I can't wait to dig in with the Locked On Bulls podcast host and all things Chicago sports expert for Bleacher Report. It's Hayes. Hayes, what's going on?
You know what? I think the real record that we need to talk about is the fact between me and Matt Moore, we may do the most podcast a month in history. How about that?
I need to start another one. You and I start another one, Hayes. We'll have like 5 podcasts together. Doug can be the guest then. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
As I mentioned.
There you go. Okay. Now we're getting into branding, and this is my specialty. So let's keep workshopping this. Today's show does have a theme, and that theme is which happens first. And our first stop is in Texas, which features 3 teams with star power who will all be duking it out in the Western Conference this season. But which team has the best player? Let's preview an upcoming episode of Locked On Mavericks in which they fantasy draft players from all 3 teams and find out which player goes first overall.
The first pick in the Texas fantasy draft. Who are you taking?
I'll take Wemby.
Victor Wembanyama goes first. Is he the best? He's the best player in Texas right now, like even going into next season.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's in between him and AD, and I get that Wemby had his own health scare at the end of last season, but I think the fact you got to factor in some injury stuff with AD and Wemby taking another step, man. Like, he's an alien, and when I watch him play, and if I had a chance to have him, I would feel stupid if I'm like, oh, I passed up this guy.
Yeah. So. Wemby's the easy choice at 1. Especially, too, from a team building perspective. You could get another center next to him and it would make sense, or you could not get another center.
He's also on the way up, and AD would technically be on the way down in his career.
Matt, any issues with Wemby going first in that draft over AD or KD if the goal is to build a team that wins a championship this upcoming season?
No, I think Victor was on his pathway to having the statistical profile, both box score and impact numbers of an MVP level player. The team wasn't good enough around him. If you think about how good teams they compound how good a star player is, and the star player compounds how good the team is, then I think that any sort of like perspective on that is going to lead you to this kid is just absolutely that good and that insane. Victor Wembanyama can absolutely be the best player on a championship team. Anthony Davis has never been nor will ever be the best player on a championship team. So by that simple definition, what I'm surprised at is KD, I think, is a different kind of like level here of trying to evaluate where he's at. Like KD might have to go first for me. AD, I don't even know if I have him over a lot of other players in this division or in Texas. So for me, it's I think having Wembanyama first, because I feel like Wembanyama could still not know what he's doing and still win Finals MVP.
I think Wemby's the right pick here. Wemby's he's too talented. He does too many things that actually matter and contribute to winning the game of basketball. And right now, he's still off doing things that just come naturally to him. Like, we still haven't even seen the tier once the game starts slowing down at a high level, and Wemby starts adding skills and back to the basket moves and those type of things. Like, those are coming. So Wemby going first here isn't surprising. I'd go KD after that, AD last, because AD is the one that I trust the least. Like, when he's on the court and locked in, like, AD is so good, but like, how much do we see that? And how many times does AD pout and things like that? So I'd go Wemby, KD, then AD. That'll be the order I'd go in there.
Sight unseen. Okay, so we don't know what Cooper Flagg's gonna be. We know Cooper Flagg walked into Team USA last summer and gave them the business, and everybody was like, damn, right? With Cooper Flagg. We don't know what he's going to be. Maybe he's a role player. Maybe he's AK-47. Maybe he's the next coming of the Omega forward, right? With sight unseen, Hayes, right now, got to win a championship. Do you feel better with Anthony Davis or Cooper Flagg?
I mean, I'd have to pick AD just because I'd go Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg's too intense on both sides of the ball. I know he's a rookie. We haven't seen what he does in the NBA yet, but I think it's just a safer bet to pick Cooper Flagg there.
Man, that's a little insane to me. Hayes, what made you, because you almost went AD there. What was pulling you in that direction?
So the pulling me is just the fact that we've seen it. Like, we've seen
right.
AD.
That's what makes it insane
in the finals, right? Yeah, is that we've seen it happen before. It's just like, if we're talking about from this point on, though, I'd probably pick Cooper.
Okay,
Doug, hang on. I got one more here. This is fascinating. Doug, if Anthony Davis was on the 2024 Celtics instead of Jason Tatum, do they win the championship? Great question, right?
yeah. I mean, they look. They benefited a lot, I think, from some extra interior defense.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, maybe.
It's a great question. I think it's a really fascinating question because, like, AD really is phenomenal, and he's had stretches. Like, he played at an MVP level for about 2 months last year. Like, he really was. In October, November through the middle part of December, AD was unbelievable. It's the consistency thing. It's the consistency, and his ceiling never seems as high as it should be, and his floor never seems as high as it should be. His median is unbelievable. It's incredible. But that, combined with all the injury stuff, makes this a really interesting question.
I think you're right. Let us know what you think on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. Let's take the exit ramp off of fantasy highway and go back to reality and do our which happens first for this segment. Which player delivers the Larry O'Brien trophy back to the great state of Texas first? Is it Wemby in San Antonio? Is it Cooper Flagg in Dallas? Or is it Kevin Durant in Houston? Hayes, we'll start with you.
Kevin Durant in Houston. You're talking about first. I think that they're just primed and ready to go. If Asur takes another step up in his game, and I think what KD provides to that team is exactly what they needed to kind of get over that hump. They needed somebody who could score outside the framework of the offense. KD is that, so I'd put KD here.
I'll go Wembanyama, just from the window being open further, right? Because it's like, look, if you don't get this done with KD this year or at most next year, that window is probably closing, right? Now, I wrote up a big thing on my Substack about KD. Like, here's a fun one. KD's worst shooting spot on the floor was the right above the break three, which he shot 37%, 2 points above league average at. That was his worst. Like, his chart is nothing but flaming red. He's still such an incredible scorer. But I am less confident in Houston being able to put together the pieces and having this work together than Hayes is. Like, Hayes seems pretty in on the Rockets this season, which makes sense. Like, they're going to be really good this year, but I'm not as confident that it's all going to come together. Unknown things about how chemistry is going to come together when you don't know it works, I'm always a little skeptical of. With Wembanyama, I just continue to be like, look, I was kind of like last year, I was like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. The kid still gets bumped out of the way. He's still very slight. He still doesn't know what he's doing. He still doesn't have like a go-to set of offensive moves. And yet when you watched him, or when you looked at his advanced metrics, it was like, this is one of the most impactful players in the league. That's what I keep coming back to. It's just like every single step that he takes is not like, oh, he takes like a little step. It's a gargantuan, gigantic leap through the air. It's incredible how much ground he covers in his development, seemingly every game. Cooper, I don't know what he's going to be. He could be that guy that came in and busted Team USA. He could be the guy that comes in and is just like, yeah, he's AK-47, Andrei Kirilenko. If you don't know that, go look him up. Like, really good fill in the blanks player. I know Wembanyama is a megastar, and I know his window is the next 15 years.
Okay, I have 2 follow-ups that I will get to coming up on Locked On NBA. One of those follow-ups is how much of not considering Cooper Flagg in this discussion is about trusting the front office to actually put the pieces around him in the future and not make another insane mistake. And also, I would like to know from both of you, what would you need to see out of Cooper Flagg in his rookie year that would convince you that Cooper is that guy that could lead the Mavs and maybe even overcome some of those front office errors in the future? So I'll ask both of those questions. Plus, we have lots more which happens first, including the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry's record, or John Stockton's all-time assist record. Which falls first, and which team falls to the bottom of the standings first? Is it Golden State? Is it Miami? The LA Clippers? I'll ask Matt and Hayes all that ahead on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, we know that. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching that bet ride all the way into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you are part of the action. And if you're new to FanDuel, I've got great news. New customers can bet just $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. We're going to jump right back into this conversation that we were having in the first segment about Cooper Flagg, his chances of bringing a title to Texas via the Dallas Mavericks. So a couple of follow-up questions. One is how much of that Cooper Flagg not being in the consideration with Kevin Durant or Wemby to get that first title is about Nico Harrison and the front office and the Mavericks not being able to deliver talent around him, Matt?
I think I genuinely have questions about Cooper as like what he's going to be. Because again, like I hope that he's that guy that I talked about with Team USA, that he's this guy that's been hyped for 2 years, that it's like he could be absolutely everything. But like at Duke, he was just like, hey, really great player. He wasn't like Kevin Durant, where I walked out of watching Kevin Durant games in college and was like, this guy's a Hall of Famer. Oh my God. And with Cooper, it was like, yeah, really good player. You know, with Summer League, you walked in there and you were like, hey, pretty good. Like, you had that bad first game, but you're like, yeah, no, he's got like a lot of skills, really good, going to be awesome. I don't necessarily put him on this tier of the guys that we've looked at as being transcendental. And if you're going to be this impactful as a rookie, I think it's got to be there. I also just I don't believe in the Mavericks core. D'Angelo Russell is their starting point guard. Kyrie Irving is going to be coming off of a major injury whenever he gets back. AD will be another year older. He's their best player. Like, there's all these formula. If the formula was like rock solid and also Cooper was good, it really wouldn't matter what Cooper was. It'd be like Darko with the Pistons, right? It'd be like, no, this team's good enough to win a championship anyway. I don't think the Mavericks are good enough. And so it doesn't really matter how good Cooper is. He'd have to be Magic Johnson level to put them in immediate contention.
Wow. Hayes, are you in the same place with Cooper? And what would you need to see from him in his rookie season to convince you that he could actually vault over KD and Wemby in this kind of discussion?
I'd have to see him live up to the hype. Like I need to see Cooper be this player that gives effort on both sides of the ball, that is really solid defensively and showing that polish that he's going to grow offensively. I also think leadership, like, say what you will, KD isn't necessarily the strongest leader yet. But I think Cooper it's so much right now that he could be. I got to start seeing realization of that, because we've seen a lot of potential doesn't always pan out. Like, potential isn't always turned into realized talent. And so while he has a lot of that, I just need to see who Cooper's going to be as a player, us starting to see that like what he's going to be there. And then leadership, because while this team, he is a rookie on this team, he can start showing some of those leadership qualities early on because AD is definitely going to need them. So that's what I'd say there.
I always like going back to this. The Cavs missed the playoffs the first season with LeBron. Mm-hmm. And you could be like, well, come on, this Mavericks team is way better than that one. Yes, AD would be the best player on that team, no question. But they had some dudes. And that brings you to a really fun question, which is who's the Ricky Davis of the 2026 Dallas Mavericks? And I would say it's probably D'Lo.
Who's the big paper daddy? Who's the tricky Ricky? That's the question. I love that question. That question comes up all the time on Locked On Hornets, strangely enough. Let's move on. The Golden State Warriors, their star players have entered their golden years, but Locked On Warriors says that doesn't mean that they can't contend for a title, especially when Steph Curry is playing at the level that he did last season. Here's Kylan Mills with more.
Curry can absolutely, Chuck, be the centerpiece of a championship team. I will die on this hill. Steph seems to be aging like Benjamin Button. He just continues to pull energy out of nowhere. I mean, you look at Steph's numbers from this last season, and they were very similar to what his numbers were during the 2021-22 season when the team won a championship. He's averaging just about the same points per game, 24.5, 25 range. His shooting numbers actually went up in terms of his field goal shooting and his three-point shooting compared to that year. He shot just about 40% from beyond the arc this past season. The rebounds, about 5 rebounds per game, 6 assists. I mean, across the board, I did not see a significant drop-off in Steph Curry's play from 2022, the title run, to now. Steph Curry could absolutely lead the Dubs to a championship. The question to me is, what do the pieces around him look like? That's going to determine whether or not the Dubs win a championship. But to anybody who says that Steph Curry is washed, I say absolutely not. Shame on you. Steph Curry is still one of the greatest players of all time, the greatest shooter of all time in my estimation. But I do not think that he's lost enough of a step to the point where you'd say, he's not really enough to lead a team to the championship in terms of being the best player.
Well done, Kylan. Dropping the shame on you. I love it when someone drops the shame on you. Chuck is with Kylan on this, by the way. There was no debate on that episode. Chuck went as far as to say he would take Steph now over Donovan Mitchell to try to win a title next season. Are you with them, Hayes? How far will you go with them on this?
I mean, he's definitely not washed at all. If somebody's trying to make the argument that Steph is washed, you just got to walk away and not have a basketball conversation with that person because they're not worth it. But as far as over Donovan Mitchell, it depends on the makeup of the. You know what? No, I'll say I agree with that. Because not only from a leadership perspective, which I think Steph has over Donovan Mitchell as well, he's still really good at getting other players involved. I think he was top 20 in assists last year. He still can absolutely fill it up and space the floor. I'll say this. I think there are more variations of rosters you can win a title with Steph with than with Donovan Mitchell. So I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'll still go with Steph over Donovan. Out of the immense amount of respect that I have for Curry. I don't think the leadership is a thing because Steph's version of leadership always seems to be like, come on, guys. It's very shucksy, which is not my bag. But I also think it's interesting. So she made the comment that there hasn't been this huge drop off from 2022. If we're going to look for evidence of that, your eye test stuff, I see a little bit of degradation in terms of how fast he comes off of relocation, how quick he makes his mistakes. This is something that happens with players of his type where Steph's always been a sloppy passer. The sloppiness gets worse as you get older. He's a little sloppier than he was. From a metric standpoint, I think what's interesting, though, is he took this big drop the year before last in 2024. There was this huge drop, and you can see this in any of the advanced metrics if you go look at them. But last year, it took back up slightly, and that's rare. Usually it's when a player falls off, it's even if it's a gradual decline, it doesn't come back up in a noticeable manner. Now, this is only a little bit of an improvement, but it was. So I still think that Steph is there. He's still one of the most impactful players in the game. A lot of this just gets into what really is the core of everything with Steph. We try and make this about other things. It's his willingness to move off ball, how smart he is, how precise he is, and his shooting. It's just that. That's it. And as long as you have that, the entire defense is going to be a little bit broken because they have to guard somebody who is one of one all time throughout the course of all infinite time and space.
Well, if he continues to stay healthy, he's sure to put some distance on the record that he already holds for all-time three-pointers made. which brings us to our next Which Happens First coming up on Locked On NBA. Which happens first? If Steph stays healthy and puts some more distance on that three-pointer record, is it his three-pointer record or is it John Stockton's all-time assist record? Plus, we've got an update or at least an interesting idea about a restricted free agent destination for Cam Thomas. We'll hear more from Locked On Pistons on that coming up on Locked On NBA. Thanks again for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Credit Matt Moore for this next Which Happens First. If Steph does stay healthy next season, he should put even more distance on that all-time three-pointer made record. Which happens first? Steph Curry's three-point made record falls or John Stockton's all-time assist record falls? Matt, why don't you take the wheel here?
The numbers are absolutely preposterous for both players here. Stockton, all right, think about how long Chris Paul's been playing. He has 12,499 assists. That's a lot of assists. 12,500 assists. Yeah, Stockton still has 15,806. He's got over 3,000 more assists. These numbers, it's hard to kind of contextualize. You have to really kind of understand that Stockton was putting in absolutely ridiculous assist numbers and did it for 20 years. Like, it's a LeBron type run of just assists, and it's absolutely bonkers. Steph, I think the problem is, like, he's already number one by such a wide margin. I think this question is really interesting, Hayes, because in order to generate the assist, you have to have the team, the players around you. Like, he had Malone to finish in the pick and roll, right? You have to have that combination for a long enough period of time, and the offense has to sustain. Stockton did this in the 90s when we didn't see the kind of offensive numbers that we have today. With Curry, the question is, like, will there ever be a better shooter than Steph? And I don't think the answer is yes, but there might be a shooter that takes what he brought into the league and does it for longer. Because remember, Steph lost a lot of his early seasons with the ankle injury. So for me, I actually think Stockton's assist record is going to hold. It is preposterous for me to think that anybody can catch it. That's how insane Stockton's record is.
Yeah, I mean, both these records, I think, are both going to be fairly untouchable. I mean, when you look at Steph, he's basically played almost 70 games almost every year of his career, but 2011 and 12 were his 26. He played 5 in 2019, 20, 50 in 2017, 18, but it's been right around 65, 70 every year other than that. So a player that's able to come in and be more healthy than Steph and maybe play longer, even though we don't know when Steph's going to stop playing, maybe could reach that. But even then, I don't know if that record's ever going to be touched. I just don't know. I could be wrong on that. I don't think either one of these records are ever going to be touched. Like, these are two of them of maybe the most untouchable records in basketball. But to answer Doug's question, if you had to ask me which one is going to be, if I had to pick one that's going to be broken, I got to say it's probably going to be Steph's. I just don't think Stockton's record, like, you would have to have so many things go well for you, be such an amazing creator, and to Matt's point, have such a good team around you as well. I just don't know if we're ever going to see it happen.
I mean, think about LeBron playing into his 40s, averaging somewhere in the like 500 to 600 assists a season in all of those seasons. And Matt, you might have the list in front of you. He's close, but he's not within any kind of like threatening range of the record. Stockton averaged over 1,000 assists over a 9-season span. There have only been 3 players in NBA history who have had 1,000+ assists in a season. Stockton, I think, did it 6 or 7 times. And then once Isaiah Thomas and once Kevin Porter. There's only 3.
Kevin Porter.
Crazy.
LeBron 4th all time in assists. The man's 40 and he's still only 4. Like, think about how great of a passer LeBron is. And he's 4th all time in assists. He's still over 4,000 behind Stockton. That's nuts.
I think there's some underrated reasons why both of these records will be very difficult to break. For the three-pointer record, I think it's that if someone comes along, I don't think anyone exists now that could do it. But if someone comes along and gets on a Curry pace, I think it would break the game so thoroughly that Silver would be forced to make some, or whoever's commissioner at the time would be forced to make some changes to like reconfigure the game. They're already having those discussions, which could hurt someone's ability to even threaten that record. So there may be a little bit of ladder pulling when Steph retires. I've made that joke that he should retire, get into the rules committee and pull the ladder up. But then for the assists record, I think what makes that difficult is the prominence of the three-pointer, strangely enough. I think they're connected in that, can a pass first point guard that isn't a threat to be a three-point shooter, or who doesn't command respect from the defense in that way and who only focuses on passing, can that player exist in the game right now that could do the things that Stockton did? I mean, he shot threes, but not at any kind of like crazy rate that we're seeing now.
Yeah, and I think like Halliburton, I think is a good example of this, right? Where Hallie is kind of evolutionary Steve Nash, where Steve has always kind of said like he wished he shot more, and Halliburton is the player that shoots more. Get better, Hallie. I already miss you. But what's interesting, I think, is because of the pull-up three, it presents this different tree of options, right? That Stockton was never going to be presented with come off of a high pick and roll and fire a three. That was inconceivable in the 90s. Like, it was inconceivable. I do not think that word means what you think it means, to be able to take that kind of a three-point attempt. But now it's like, that's like that is a positive shot in today's game. And so trying to balance out those two things, I think that's what's going to take away from some of these assists. I do think it's really fascinating that we're in an unparalleled time period of offensive efficiency and success and passing and spacing. And we do not see the kind of assist guys that we did with like Stockton, Isaiah, et cetera. I think that's really interesting.
Let's stay on this topic. Hayes, do you think that Wemby gets near the all-time blocks record, which belongs to Hakeem Olajuwon with 3,830? Is he the next one that makes it untouchable? Like we talked about, Steph, Stockton have made those untouchable. Does he make that untouchable?
If he stays healthy, yes. He's going to separate himself much like Steph did with threes, and that like it's academic. If Wemby stays healthy, absolutely, he'll kill that record.
I don't know. So Hakeem, we're looking at 3.4 in 86 and 87, 2.7 in 88, 3.4 in 89. In 90, he averaged 4.6 blocks per game. 4.6. Like, I really got to stress this, that Robinson and Hakeem both had such absolutely transcendent shot blocking abilities, in part because, like, look, they were going to contest. There was more 2-pointers, so there was a higher opportunity chance for them. And so when you I also think when you look at this, look at the games played for Hakeem: 82, 68, 75, 79, 82, 82. He finally got an injury in 91, 56 games, back up to 70, 82, 80, 72, 72, 78. Like, Hakeem played, and I don't think Wemby's going to be that. He plays for the Spurs, known to be like pretty cautious. And there's always been this thing about the big man of his size of the injury concerns before we had this, I'm not going to overreact to the blood clot. I just don't know that he's going to play enough games to be able to catch Hakeem in total blocks. His blocks per game, though, Hayes might be right. That one might be his.
I don't know why I didn't mention Chris Paul as well. He's second on the all-time list of assists, and he's played into his 40s now, and he's still 3,000 away from John Stockton. That just
never gonna happen. It's never gonna get passed up. That's not gonna happen.
Well, the only thing that could make a difference is some kind of like scoring change. Like, because the three-pointer is a three-pointer. There's a line you can, but like assists are a little bit. They exist in this weird universe of a scorer at a scoring table making, a decision on what's an assist or not. So maybe that's the only thing that I would throw towards the assist record.
Talk to Philadelphia fans. They already think that happens in Denver. So,
by the way, Artis Gilmore, who showed up on a show the other day, the 100th best player of all time, according to Bleacher Report, Great Bull, he is 4th on the all-time blocks list. So I don't know. Just wanted to throw Artis Gilmore into the show.
Just put this in perspective. Wemby already has 430 blocks, and he missed a large chunk of last season. We're talking about if Wemby puts together 3 healthy seasons the next 3 years, he's going to be in the top 25 blocks all time.
That's insane. That's absolutely ridiculous. And to your point, in his first 2 seasons, Hakeem only had 451. He's got a point there.
All right, a few more here. Let's go rapid fire. Who rebuilds first? The Golden State Warriors, the LA Clippers, or the Miami Heat? Matt, who goes to the bottom first?
Ooh, you want this rapid fire. Clippers. This is 1 year, and then they're going to finally pull the plug and be done with this nonsense, and they can move on. And they're going to be the Clippers will win a championship in the next 10 years, not with Kawhi Leonard. As soon as they tear this one down, the next phase of Clipperdom is going to be an elite championship contender.
Hayes.
I agree, Clippers. I think that we got 2 years on the Clippers. That's it. It's done. They're going to rebuild.
All right, sports betting site Bovada has the Detroit Pistons as the odds-on favorite to land restricted free agent Cam Thomas. Let's go to Kuka Hill for his opinion on his fit in Detroit.
Cam is a very good scorer with a lot of talent, a lot of scoring talent. He doesn't offer much else at this point right now. Now, what's going for him is that he actually is very good at scoring. He's not like I sorry to throw this shot at this guy, but he's not like Jalen Green, where the sell on him is, he's an efficient scorer, except he's not actually an efficient scorer. Cam is actually an efficient scorer. He is really good at what he does. You put him in isolation, give him a mismatch, he's cooking them. You don't set a double team, he's cooking them. Like, he actually can do that. So there is value for that. But the reason why he is still available, I believe, is because he doesn't offer much else.
All right, Hayes, which happens first? One of Jonathan Kuminga, Josh Giddey, Cam Thomas, or Quentin Grimes signs any kind of contract, or one of those players just says, bleep it, I'll sign the qualifying offer?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'll say one of them signs a deal first. The qualifying offer is such the pull break glass in case of an emergency. I'll say one of them signs a deal first. I'd say if I had to guess between the three, I'd say Kuminga. I put more money on Kuminga.
I'll say it's one of them signs a deal first. I think Giddey probably gets done. There's nothing like complicated here. It's just about the money. So like with Kuminga, I think they're still hoping for somebody to bail them out with a sign and trade that can drag on into the fall. But with Giddey, they don't want to move him. So from that perspective, I think Giddey gets signed.
There's only one active player in the top 25 of all-time rebound leaders. Will Chamberlain, 23,924. Bill Russell, second with 21,000. Who is it?
Is it Drummond?
It is not Andre Drummond. Matt, you want to take a guess? All-time rebound leaders. In fact, this player is 25th, as far away from number one in the top 25 as you can be. The only active player.
I do not know.
It is LeBron James.
Jesus.
There we go. We worked him into the show. We get to keep our jobs for another day.
What a psycho.
All right. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA, for making us your first listen of the day. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. Thanks so much to Matt and Hayes for their expertise every day. Until next time, be kind to each other. We'll see you right back here for more record talk tomorrow on Locked On NBA.